paragraphs and full sentences. Start with an intro paragraph, then a content paragraph, then a conclusion paragraph. You're going to be graded on your spelling, on your grammar, and no, you're not. In many exams, that's true. It is not true on the CFA exam. Again, the Institute is not shy about making this available. It's just kind of hard to find. They are looking for content, and they are only grading the content. Are you answering using what you were taught, relevant to the case facts, the question that was asked? They do require coherent statements, but they actually prefer you write in statements, or some people call this bullet points, and not bother to use full sentences. They are grading you on content, so you may have to let go of some things that you thought were important elsewhere. And the problem with all the stuff on the left is it gets in the way of focusing on what matters. So the stuff on the left isn't inherently wrong, except it takes too long. It's consuming your clock, and you're not getting around to doing what you will be graded on. So I don't want to harp on this, or maybe I do, but it's pretty important you get this straight and begin to do this correctly. So let's take a look at another question. We're going to make sure we do that in each of the videos. You already know the issue. What are the minutes? Typically, they will tell you up front how many parts and how many minutes in total. It's 11 minutes. Then you want to find the question. That means you've got to advance through the material, and you see two parts. In part A, we want to assume in case Cassidy wants to retain all upside potential if his forecast is correct. So what the heck is his forecast? How are you going to answer the question if you don't know what the facts are? What does Cassidy think? He wants to retain upside. Upside on what? We need the case facts. Recommend what he would do and explain how it would work using only put options or only call options. Now, I'll give you another hint. There's another part of the question. But until you see intervening additional information, it's helpful to know what the other questions are going to be asking about. Assuming he wants to eliminate any initial cost and become highly confident in his forecast, don't continue. Because now we're making new assumptions. Those assumptions do not apply to Part A. So you read anything up till you start seeing new information, and then you stop. We're going to focus only on Part A, and once we solve Part A, then come back and work on Part B. What does he believe? He wants to keep the upside. How can he do something with put options or call options? Not and, or. Either or. What can he do? Now you're prepared, that you've actively read the question, you're ready to read the case facts. So we have John Cassidy as a CFA manager, bond portfolios, U.S. based. He manages duration in anticipation of interest rate changes. Interest rates may increase. All right, there's his view. His view is that interest rates are going to go up. He wants to retain upside in his bond portfolio if rates go up. He wants to change portfolio duration in anticipation, sure. If you lower duration, when rates go up, value goes down, but it goes down magnified by duration. Remember the old formula, percentage change in value is minus duration, delta R, rates go up times minus duration, value goes down. With a lower duration number, value would go down less. I was taught at level 1. Here it is, the heart of things you will be working on in level 3 as a portfolio manager. Now, what does he have available? Some derivative instruments. He has available calls and puts on bond prices. That's one category of derivatives. He has calls and puts on interest rates. You've studied all these at previous levels. And he has futures contracts on treasury bonds. He wants to minimize the number of transactions. Don't do a lot of transactions when you can use a smaller number. And he doesn't want to have to do subsequent rebalancing. The view is that rates will go up. You have available calls and puts on bond prices. I want put options on bond prices. If rates go up, prices go down, those puts will become more valuable. That will provide some buffering. Second, I have call options on interest rates. A call option on interest rates, when interest rates go up, you receive the difference as the rate goes above the strike rate. Material that was taught at level 1, level 2, and will be extensively reviewed at level 3. Now apply it to a portfolio management situation and directly answer the question. The question, remember, said to use either calls or puts. So we've identified what we need to do. We've checked the case facts. We've selected the relevant body of knowledge that applies to this question. Now you've got to go collect your point value. Read the question, read the case facts, reread the question, think about the case facts. What were you taught? How does it intersect? And what would be an appropriate answer to give? Then write it down. The writing process really shouldn't take 50% of the allotted time. Now, as a hint, on exam day, this needs to have become automatic. But to get there, you should always, after you've done a question, stop and review what you've done. Relook at the question, relook at the case facts, and ask you, have you actually answered the question? Did you use the most prominently taught material to do it? Or have you wandered off on a tangent you thought was interesting and didn't display a mastery of the body of knowledge? That's all it takes to pass this exam. It's not a tough test. So how about this as an answer? You know, it's a nice beginning. You can purchase options, would give asymmetric risk modification. He can retain all the upside without downside. He expects interest rates to increase. He must reduce duration. That's all true. By the way, it doesn't answer the question. What kind of options? Because we've got options on prices, we've got options on interest rates. This is a nice generic statement. It doesn't answer the question. It gets 0 credit. Then you jump in and start saying exactly what you're going to do. Now we're getting down to something that could be worth something. Buy call options on interest rates. If rates increase, he'll receive the difference between the rate and the strike rate. Okay, we've answered the question. Buy put options on bond prices. We elaborate a little bit. These are good answers. But there's also a lot of extraneous stuff here. So I want you to look at that answer for a minute. And then I want you to determine how you can quickly, without any great difficulty, mark out about 30% of it. And what else do you need to do to actually answer what was asked? Go back and check the question. I'll give you a second to do that. That first paragraph, it's nice, but it's not actually answering anything. It's a nice general display of knowledge. You don't get any credit for that. You have to take the knowledge and hone it in and say things that are directly relevant. And many of you I know are in the habit of, you just want to show them all, all this stuff. It's not what they're looking for. You're wasting your time.